The following is a paid issue advertisement.
If the vote count is accurate, then how come the number of voters is different? And if it's not accurate, then why was it certified? We are suing Letitia James and the New York State Board of Elections for a conspiracy against fundamental rights. This is not about who won. It's not about what party. It's about the fact that they don't care about your rights.
Paid for by RealAmerica.vote, a DBA of New York Citizens Audit Civic Fund, Incorporated.
Go to realamerica.vote.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi! Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
The host of Spaced Out Radio, a known Canadian show. Have the Canadian authorities threatened you for revealing secret information that up till now had only been housed by the U.S. government? Are there any restrictions on Canadian conversation about the UFOs and the UAPs from the United States?
Thankfully, no. And to be honest with you, in typical Canadian fashion, Walter, I think outside of me and a couple of others, there really hasn't been any sort of fallout or story time on it. Yes, our news coverage did kind of tip on it a little bit, but nobody ever goes into the UFO sides here. Like, we don't have stations up here that really get into this kind of talk. People are worried about inflation. They're worried about the government. They're worried about media control. And, UFOs is about 1,285 down the list.
And yet, and if you were to ask grown-ups in the United States the same question, they would say, well, there's not really a lot of interest in it. And then it was 300 million hits to the United States of America government website that released the information. About 300 million hits.
I heard that number was actually higher by a couple hundred million. I mean, it could be closer to about, I heard it was 500 million hits.
You could be right.
Friday alone.
Sure, you could be right. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm responsible for about 5 of those.
Yeah.
So you can blame me for 5.
And hold on a second. And Ross Coldhart was responsible for at least 7 or 8 of them, and he's Australian.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a topic that people all around the world want to know about. They want to learn about it. They want to know if we are actually alone in the universe. I mean, Walter, the space is the final frontier. I mean, there is no way, whether you believe in God or whether you believe in Darwin, that we are alone, that we are the only life source in an infinite spatial existence above us. I mean, I think that's ridiculous to think that.
Of course it's ridiculous to think that. Now, on your show, Spaced Out Radio, a known Canadian show, was there a theme to the type of comments or questions that were asked by listeners, emails, phone calls? Was there a theme to their curiosity?
Well, the theme really is, can we trust these files? And as we draw further and further away from the release this past Friday, what we are actually seeing, Walter, is a lot of people who've been involved in the UFO world a long time saying, this is our technology. This isn't UFOs. This is unidentified anomalous phenomena, which I believe are man-made objects. And I think that is the biggest thing. I had my guest tonight, Olaf Phillips, who's an author and a book publisher. He's been in the UFO world for more than 30 years. And he also, on his day job, works for a couple of defense contractors. And he was saying, this is technology that we have out there. If it was UFOs, we'd expect something a little bit closer. Okay, we want to see the craft. We want to see the disc shapes. We want to see the black triangles, the boomerangs. We don't want to see dots, that look like satellites flying up in the sky. I mean, we get that every day.
The dots are problematic. I agree with you, but it also misses the lead. And the lead is, for the first time in history, the United States government is admitting that there are UFOs, there are things they cannot explain, that what happened on the moon that the Apollo astronauts saw was unusual, bright lights, things moving around, other entities on the moon. Gee, we weren't expecting that. And that's the real lead. This is the first time the conversation has ever been blessed. The conversation is being blessed by the United States government. It is not denied. It is, here's the stuff we got. We're going to give you more. Have a good time. You can talk about it. Yes, we can participate in the conversation. Well, that's a first.
Absolutely. It's a big first, and I agree with you on that. I'm happy the files came out. Usually I'm very negative about this because I look at it because I've been involved in the UFO field for 11 years, as a journalist and as a radio show host. And, I'm frustrated like the UFO community that we didn't get Roswell. We didn't get any of the big cases.
Yet.
We didn't get the admittance of it yet. And the key word is yet. Now, I believe we're still a couple of years away from getting into the alien talk, from getting into the UFO talk. My guest, Olaf Phillips, tonight basically said the exact same thing. But it is a conversation that we are going to have. If they start giving us clearer videos, proper evidence that this is going on, and they finally admit that UFOs are real and not trying to hide American technology or even foreign technology as unidentified anomalous phenomena.
Ross Coulthart said that we should expect much bigger revelations coming in the coming weeks based on his contacts, his suspicions. He believes that we're going to see clear shots of craft and clear shots of aliens. What do your experts say?
My experts are saying the opposite, that they're not prepared to do that just yet. We have heard that type of speculation, and I don't mean to, claim that Ross is wrong. His sources are obviously a little deeper and a little bit different than my sources are. But on the flip side, this is a story that could go any way possible. I mean, they have to figure out a lot of logistics before they start bringing out aliens flying craft and clear videos. They need to figure out how are they going to respond and how is the public going to respond to this if the public actually opens their eyes and sees that this phenomena is real.
He is Australian,
Yes, he's a good part of the Commonwealth, just like us.
He's with News Nation. This is Dave Scott, who's the host of Spaced Out Radio, a Canadian radio show that covers UAPs, UFOs. But Dave takes it from a different direction than most radio hosts. He's a journalist. He's a newsman. You want to talk about Bigfoot? He'll go out into the woods, spend the night where there have been Bigfoot sightings. He'll spend the night. He'll put out food for them. He'll try to capture photographs of them. He's hardcore journalist. When you looked at the files that came out, what was your overall impression in terms of their credibility? I know that's a debate, but I care about you, Dave. I don't care about what other people are saying. What do you feel about the credibility of the UFO files that were released last week by the U.S. government?
I want the world to read them. Usually I'm very negative about this kind of release. I've never been very happy with the congressional hearings, the way those have broken down over the last few years. But these files, they're a good start. They're a good starting point, especially for the public who doesn't really know or understand the topic the way many people in the UFO world do. You have to start somewhere. Like when you're learning how to play baseball, okay, you're not going to hit a home run over the fence your first swing at bat. You're hoping to make contact and hopefully get to first base. I think we got to first base. I also like the fact that finally they're holding NASA accountable. NASA for years denied this, even though they released transcripts, Walter, of their astronauts and their test pilots having encounters. And the big one for me was finally hearing, after years of denial by Buzz Aldrin, the second man on the moon, that they had encounters on their way up to the moon. They felt like they were being followed. And Michael Collins, who was the operator of the LEM, he even said that he felt like their LEM got bumped. What bumped it? What did they see? Was it on the moon? Other astronauts claim that they did see things on the moon. So finally, NASA, after years of denial that, oh no, none of our spaceships have ever been followed, all the astronauts signing their NDAs and locking up their voices. Now I'm curious, with this coming out, will the media and the politicians hold NASA more accountable? They should.
Yeah, but what if NASA was more than happy to reveal the information and were told under no condition should you say a word?
Well, there's that possibility too. I don't think that would be the case. I would hope not. But on the flip side,
yes,
NASA seems to have a problem with denial on this. It's much like the all-domain anomalous resource operation called AARO, which is the governing body that is supposed to be looking after all of the UFO files. They were in denial that there was absolutely anything happening whatsoever. They got caught with their pants down as well. So as long as people, the media, and politicians are holding them to the fire, we could get something. But if they take their pressure off, that's when we're going to all of a sudden start to see information slip.
This is Dave Scott, host of Spaced Out Radio in Canada. Now, Dave, also tonight we had on Eddie Oregon. And Eddie Oregon is a broadcaster in New Mexico near the Epstein Ranch, the Zorro Ranch, wired to the community, real broadcaster, owns the radio stations. And he says that all the references by Jeffrey Epstein and all of the files where he talks about jerky, really likes jerky, Eddie here says that was human jerky. That was human flesh made into jerky. And I said, well, where'd the human flesh come from? And he said, children. How do you feel about that?
I think if that's true, it's absolutely grotesque. Goodness, it reminds me of up here near Vancouver when I was working in radio in Vancouver when the pig farm was busted and they were finding pieces of bodies and bone fragments all over that had been put through a wood chipper. I mean, I think the sad part about humanity is we have this innate ability to be really, really grotesque when we want. And it's very disgusting. It's vile. And if it is true, there are people who have to be named in public, shamed in public, and put through the fullest extent of the law through prosecution.
Dave Scott, how do we find you online?
SpacedOutRadio.com is my website. You can also sign up and hit subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio, and you can download all of our shows for free on every major podcast network, including Spotify and iTunes.
Don't you love that Spotify calls itself radio?
Not really. I don't think it is.
No, it's not radio. Of course not. But all of that new tech stuff with the streams, yes, we're better than radio. Really, then why does Pandora and Spotify and SiriusXM keep calling themselves radio? Because there's nothing better than radio. Dave Scott, thank you for being on the other side of midnight with Walter Sterling.
77 WABC and Bergen Newbridge Medical Center honor the life of legendary broadcaster and our friend, Ernie Anastas.
Hi, it's Ernie Anastas. You know, your thoughts can affect how you feel. Bergen Newbridge Medical Center is the largest hospital in New Jersey, providing comprehensive, equitable, compassionate, and high-quality emergency inpatient and outpatient medical care, plus mental health services and substance use disorder treatment. The Bergen Newbridge team can address your total health needs in one convenient location. Call 201-225-7130 for an appointment or newbridgehealth.org.